on this. They really need to work on her voice. I mean, the app is so good. And then she's like recording on progress, like an 80s style robot. Welcome, Sue. You're just in time. Thanks for being here. Again, a little bit of housekeeping. Just turn off your camera if you don't want to be on the screen either now or when you ask a question later. I will ask if everyone can wait till the end to ask questions. I'd write the questions down, but because it's just little on me, I can't moderate the questions as we're going. So it's easier to do it right at the end. So I'm going to give you a lovely presentation on what I know about Insight Timer. And this is all about learning the tricks to increase your income on Insight Timer. So it's what I did to increase my earnings 150x in 12 months, which is just nuts. When I think about it, I'm like, I knew there was something to it, but when it actually happened, I was like, hang on, and we're not even done yet. Like there's still more to be had here, which is so exciting. So thanks for everyone for being here. I'm going to start now. If people come in, they can come in a little bit later and watch the replay. If you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, you can check out the replay in its entirety and hope you enjoy it. All right, here we go. So Insight Timer Pro, here we go. Let's learn those tricks. First thing, I want to give you my promise. By the end of this, you're going to see that everything you need to make $1,000 a month from Insight Timer is in your room with you right now, okay? Which is great news. But all of the tools are with you. Some of them you need to uncover, but they're there and they're ready to be used. So again, big welcome for those of you who didn't get one before. Thank you for joining me. This is my first webinar. I'm so excited to share everything I know about Insight Timer with you here. Like I say, keep the questions to the end, but my promise is you're going to get all the information that I've used to process my money and just to kind of build a dream that I've been working on for a long time. And you're going to get to copy exactly what I've done. So I'm going to share some of that with you. So that's going to be super cool. Now, just to get us started in the chat, let us know where you're tuning in from, just so I know people are nice and active. And it's also a good way to start building that community. And as you see at the end, I'm going to find a way to get this community together, regardless of where you want to take this from here on out, because the community is really where all the best stuff happens. Okay, so this promise is not only going to be met, but I'm also going to give you a juicy bonus where I show you what the back office shared with me, as in the back office, the Insight Timer shared with me as the things that you need to do to get a good, what they call content depth score going forward. Okay, they shared this with me, and when I went back to them to kind of dig into it, they were like, we can't say anymore. So it was a little secret bonus, which I'm going to show you right at the end. I think the person that showed me wasn't supposed to, because later I was like, hey, can we talk about that again? And the rest of the back office were like, we don't really talk about that. And that's kind of one of the biggest problems we see with the Insight Timer is the information is just not there. If you're here on this call, it's probably because you watched my video and you were like, where are all the videos on this platform? There's 27 million users and there's no one talking about how to really monetize this, how to really serve this community. And that's what I want to deal with here. Even now, I was searching before I came on here. I'm still one of the only videos that does it. It's really interesting. So if you feel like you're in the dark, it's not your fault. There's not much light. All right. And that's what we're going to fix today. Okay. So a little bit in the chat here. Hey, we got Palm Springs, Oxford. Oh, Olivia, living the dream now. I've just read Stephanie's message about whether you can see or hear me as yes, but I was thinking, is that where she's from? But I understand now. Alexandria, VA, I'm going to say is Vancouver. Weybridge, Surrey, big up Surrey there for Rachel. Palm Springs, lovely. And Gainsburg, MD, I don't know where that is, so someone can help me. Surrey, another one there. Beautiful places. All right, let us get going then. Thanks for sharing that all with me, guys. Now, you may be feeling like this, all right? And that's how I feel with Insight Timer. I was like, there's something here, but I'm not sure. But don't worry, I'm here to take you from to all right? Because we are going to work this all out. And you're going to have the benefit of the last 12 months of my life working it out. And it's going to be reduced into just this webinar. I hope it's just around 35, 40 minutes. I'm going to try to keep it short because I just talk too much sometimes, and I think that takes people too far. So this webinar is going to help you understand that a passive income is possible on Insight Timer. But if, and here's the if, you have the right tools and using the right tools, and also if you're not falling for the certain pitfalls that are laid out for you. Like I said, if you're in the dark and you feel like it's a bit of a struggle at the moment, I understand you. I was there, and it's not your fault. They don't make it easy. It's not like YouTube where they give you all the analytics. You're just kind of going, does this work? Oh, that doesn't seem to work. How's that person got 1 million views? What's going on? So I'm going to help make sense of the whole thing. I'm here with you. We're going to go through it together. So just a warning, you may feel like this guy here at some stage in this. It's just going to be like, wow, there's a lot going on. That's why I'm going to give you the replay. Come watch it whenever you want. Take notes, pay attention, and some things will resonate straight away. Other things will go, I'll have to come back to that later. So use this. Now, $1,000 is possible, but there's one thing that can get in the way, okay? And that thing, you may have guessed, is you, okay? And that's probably what gets in most of our ways for various reasons, which we're going to cover. Again, very natural reasons and very easy solutions to those too. But when we don't even know there's a problem, it's very hard to fix it. Like Carl Jung said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it'll run our life and we'll call it fate. That's what we want to do. We want to make what works conscious. We want to make what doesn't work conscious. Now, the $1,000 is not going to come straight away. It depends where you are in your journey, but it can come. And I'm going to show you, I'm proof that it can happen. You know, I'm not the greatest meditation teacher around. I don't have a massive following, but somehow I found the cheat codes little by little, and I'm going to share them with you. Okay, so we're a meditation group. So let's start with this. I just want you to close your eyes, wherever you are. Close your eyes, get your feet firmly on the ground. Sit up nice and tall. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Bring some awareness to your breathing now. I want you to feel like each inhale, you're breathing in that stability from the ground, that feeling of presence, that feeling of permanence, of knowing where you are and that everything is cool. And then I want you to bring your attention to the crown of your head. And imagine your dreams opening up a direct link from the top of your head to the celestial beings above us. Just letting your mind go to these different places, these different opportunities, these potentialities that could exist for you. And as we go through this next exercise, I want you to keep those two things, grounded in reality, but allow yourself to dream. And just while I got you with the eyes closed, I want you to think, what would it be like to get an extra, just $100 a month? What would that mean to you? I mean, for a lot of us, that's like a super nice treat. We either have a nice dinner out, or we may pay off some debt that we have. We can get a present for our kids, something they've been asking for. Now, what about 500? Now, that's a bit juicier. Now, that could go towards a holiday you've been desperately needing. Does that cover one of your bills so you never have to think about it? Now, take your mind to $1,000. Think about how you would spend that. Is that part of your rent sorted? Is that enough for that must-have item you're waiting for, whether it's at Christmas or otherwise? Is it a big night out with all your family and friends where you can pay for the bill and go, I got change still? Because these are opportunities. Imagine doing all this, not once, but month after month. And then imagine making this money doing the thing that you love from your home. Each month, adding to your library, and you're increasing your earning potential. This is the passive dream. But from now, it can be your dream. No commuting, no traffic, finding time for the gym, getting time to pick up your kids, just living life on your terms, living anywhere. And that was my dream. To slowly open up your eyes. And I mean that both figuratively and abstractly. So we open up our eyes, take in the room around you. This is where we start. We start from this place here. And like C.S. Lewis says, we can't go back and change the beginning, but we can start now and we can change the end. And now all of those things I said to you, that's how I felt. The $100, I was like, that's cool. $400, like that's food for the month and groceries. That's cool. And then I was like, what about my rent? Maybe I could do that. So these aren't just numbers, because money's nothing, right? Money is opportunity. It's what we do with that. How do we go again? And again, doing the thing we love, we don't have to do drop shipping or some like sponsored deal we don't really care about. We can do the thing that we were made to do, which is these meditations, which is these talks, which is these spiritual healings. For the first time, this gig economy has allowed meditation teachers, spiritual healers to earn the money they deserve. All right, let's go. So this is what it was for me. There was this just decision that I wanted to do things differently. Okay, and the dream is amazing. And as Biggie Small says, it was all a dream, but it didn't have to be. Okay, because I had these dreams at the start, and I was like, oh man, that's cool, but I keep getting $5, $10, $13, and I was like, that wasn't what I was hoping for. Okay, and I speak to a lot of meditation teachers who love Insight Timer and they love what they do, but they're frustrated with their results. Either they don't know how to get further, or they just feel stuck and they get frustrated and they feel cheated by the system. And again, because Insight Timer don't give any of the metrics, you're like, what the heck? And you start to think, is it worth it? Okay. Now I know because I was one of those teachers. This is my check from last year, $13 again. And I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, I'm not quitting stunts anytime soon. And just to put you in the picture, my situation is I'm a stunt man. I'm pretty injured, which means my earning potential is limited. I'm 40 years old. I can't do that forever. I needed an option. And, push came to shove. So when I got this and I thought things got to change, what do you think I did first? And those of you who said I threw a tantrum, you are right. Straight to blaming, you do it wrong. That's not fair. That girl's always on the homepage. That's why she gets the views. I'm not getting the views because, and then like, maybe it's because I'm no good. Actually, I am no good at this thing. Like, what was I thinking? This doesn't work. This is not for me. This is not the dream for me. This happens to other people. Other people get the good stuff coming, not me. So join me as we go through this list and tell me if you ever felt like this. Is there even a point? This will never work out. This is a pipe dream. I'm clearly not good at this. I need loads of followers. I need to be the expert. I need to be the best. I need all the best equipment, all the fancy, expensive microphones. So I went through all of this. And once I was done going through all of that, once I finished my tantrum, I thought, you know what? Let's get to work. So I started going through it. I thought, $13 is not a lot. Let's not lie. But it was consistent. I hadn't done anything on that platform for about a year. And that made me think, well, that's what passive income is. Passive income is when you do the work up front and you get paid repeatedly. I was like, 13 is not great, but I could 10x that. Maybe I could 100x that. Maybe I could 1000x that. Now suddenly it's something big. And I can build on the success here. And there must be an algorithm. There must be something in this system. If I can work out the system, I can game the system. And then I had this thing where there has to be a way. Not just there has to be a way. For me, there had to be a way. Because I didn't have much choice. When I really dug my heels in with this, the strike happened. Like I said, I'm a stuntman. So when the strike happened in SAG, things shut down quick. And this is not the first time. COVID happened. Things shut down quick. I'm now left in the dark. I got no earning potential. And I am sick to death of waiting for someone else to call me to let me do my thing. I want to decide when I get to do my thing. I want to decide what offering I put out there. I want to be in charge of my own destiny as much as I can be. So I put things together. I made the Excel of dreams. Those of you who watch my YouTube channel will know the Excel of dreams is like, I put all the data in. If they're not going to share the data, I'm going to get the data points myself. And I'm working even more with that now, where it's not just the Excel of dreams, but it's also what I'm doing in terms of how long it takes me to make a meditation and how much that meditation then makes me. So getting into the nitty gritty of actually input to output, because it's not always linear. And what was the result? Well, also I tried a lot of things out, and that's important. And then I spoke to the support team. I'm always at that back office, talking to them, trying to get in their ear, trying to find out what's going on, making relationships there. And that really helps, by the way. So what happened? Well, in 1 month, I went from $38 to 534. I thought, okay, you don't see those movements in a lot of other career paths. 3 months later, 1,314. You don't see those movements. That's almost double. Or what am I saying? That's more than double. It's almost triple. And then 2 months after that, $2,000. Now, it's a shame this webinar wasn't in a week and a half's time, because that next paycheck that's coming in, we're at the 4, 5, or 6 grand mark, maybe more. because I found the system. And it's not your fault that you haven't found the system. No one's talking about it. No one's helping each other out. So it's very possible. Again, it doesn't happen overnight, but the potentiality is there. Like I said, the 13 wasn't a lot, but it was consistent. And I knew that there was something to be had here. So these are the things that people really fall into the problems of, okay? And excuse the words, they can be quite aggressive, but I just thought there's kind of a nice Buddhist message here, which are, when it comes to the Noble Truth, there's something about these things that kind of come up in our lives quite often. One, the kind of main thing that trips people up is they don't know how Insight Timer works. They don't fully understand the system, okay? Now, you may go like, okay, I don't. But good news, we're going to work that out. We're going to do that together right in here. One sec. I'm just letting some people in here. Titus, David, thanks for joining me, man. The replay will be on, so don't worry. But we're just talking about the 3 pitfalls that happen to a lot of teachers. So these are the things that will stop you getting the $1,000 a month. Firstly, ignorance. You don't understand the system. No one's talking about how the system works. But also, you have to understand that it's not just a platform, it's a system. Just like I've just had my Zoe, which if anyone's seen a Zoe, it's like the blood glucose marker, right? I just got my results back today. And what you see is it's not as simple as calories in, calories out. Okay, that's an input output ratio where there's no division between input and output. There's no levers, there's no cogs. And they'll say when you start eating more high fat, like things like avocados, that can bring down your blood glucose levels because there's a system. Things have impact on other things. In Insight Timer, we have to know how one thing impacts another, how another thing impacts another, and we got to work out what that like ecosystem is. Now, again, there's hardly any info out there, so don't worry about not knowing. That's not your fault. Now, the fear section, I mean, fear of putting yourself out there, fear of the tech, fear of failing. All of these are valid fears. Okay, I totally get it. And when you're on the outside of it, you're like, man, that does seem like a tall mountain. There's a famous saying in Africa, which is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So stick with me. We're going to go through it one bite at a time. All right, I'm going to deal with all these things. And then these desires, the desire for time, for money. And a lot of people have that. They want to work and get paid for that. There's security in that, or so they think. Other people want passive income, but by passive income, they mean I don't want to do anything. I'm afraid I haven't worked that one out. Other than being a lottery winner, even then you have to buy a ticket. There's always some work. It's just how you do your work. And this passive income way is a preferable way to work, trust me. And again, I can't help people that want to be someone else because you're losing the biggest USP that you have. The biggest thing that you have going for you is yourself. So being someone else is not going to help you. And again, that's not who I want to work with. I want people that want to be themselves. And I can help you uncover that, but I want you. I'm just going to mute anyone on there. There we go. So let's go through these together. Now, you might want to copy the big dogs on Instagram and go, oh, okay, I wonder what they did that worked. The problem is, what I found is a lot of the big dogs have learned.
Hola.
Hello, Titus, how you
right?
doing, man? We're just getting started here. So thanks for joining. So the big dogs all started quite a long time ago, and Insight Time was very different then. So we're not kind of comparing things. Let's go through this first thing, all right? The ignorance of not knowing how it works. So number one, we have 27 million users. We have 18,000 teachers. I did the math on that. That's 1,500 unique listeners just for you. Okay, so there's more than enough. We're in what they call a blue sea at the moment. It means there's good amount of offering for us. The next thing is it's niched users, which means we're not going up against Instagram or YouTube where someone's like, entertain me for a bit. People are coming there for a reason, and that reason is meditation. So we've already just blocked out a lot of the market. The only people there are the people that want to do the thing that we offer. There are 3 ways to make money on Insight Timer: donations, plays, and engagement. Now, there's kind of a 4th way, which is getting clients out of there. It's a little bit tricky, but not undoable. So 3 ways on Insight Timer, a 4th if we can get them outside. 4, the ways to increase your earning potential on there are through lives, replies, recordifies, and there's been a spelling error here. This is rectify. That's not what that is. It's lives, replies, recordify, which means just recording your stuff, and reviews is what that's supposed to say. So yeah, there you go. Record Teachify. I've got it perfect on the page here. Then one thing to know is the homepage is gold. Remember that. How do I know it's gold? Because I've been on there twice. The most recent time, a meditation that normally gets about 30 listens a day was then getting 300 listens a day. That can boost your earning like no one's business, okay? And then the other thing to know about Insight Timer is the rules are strict. One of the rules is you can't have text on your screen when it comes to your thumbnails, okay? I had a landscape shot of New York City from miles away, and there was a yellow taxi, and you can kind of make out the TAXI, and they're like, you can't use that. Now you have to know the back office is, I think, in the Philippines, uh, or maybe they have multiple, but I think it's in the Philippines. So they have like their rules, and they don't ask questions. Whatever's written down, they do. So you can save yourself a lot of hassle by knowing what those rules are. Okay. Now look, let's look at the pay structure of Insight Timer. This is where you want to pay attention. I put this nice little comparison thing together for you. So again, we want to think about systems, not just in-out processes. So here we have lives, review replies, free plays, premium plays, and classroom. Okay. So the pros about the live, and that's just where you do like what I'm doing now, but through Insight Timer. Now it's slightly more restricted than Zoom, but it still works pretty well. The great thing about the lives is there's zero competition. I mean, if you go on now, there's like 4 people, and if you find the right time zone, you're up against no one, which means anyone looking to go to listen to someone live, you got them. Especially great when you don't have followers, so that can increase your following very quickly. Lives are also a great place to get donations. Most of my donations come from my lives. Okay. Now the cons, time and money. Okay. It's quite time intensive to go live, and the money isn't great. The pay rate is 1-to-1. So for every dollar you earn in there, you get one back, unless it's through the app when someone's watching it through the app, which then Apple takes some money. So sometimes it's better for them to pay you afterwards. So if you can ask people to give you money, ask them to pay after they come off the live. But again, that's really tricky because it's hard enough to ask money and then go, by the way, I'm glad you're giving me money, but don't give it to me right now. Give it to me in a second. Yeah, thank you very much. Like that's a lot to put on someone. But there is an infinite pay rate there. Some people, that's their whole business model. They go live, they've got a really cool offering. They do like live tarot card readings, and people pay them for it. They, psychic readings. They counsel people. So there is something there you can do. All right. Next thing, review replies. So that means someone listens to your meditation, goes, hey, you know what, Titus, I love that meditation. Thank you so much for giving that to me. When Titus goes onto Insight Timer and goes to the dashboard and says, oh my God, hey, thanks so much for listening to this. Really appreciate you. I've got another one like this. You should go check it out. Just for replying, you'll get money. Okay. So the review replies, good money. It's 1-to-1. For every reply, you get $1. This can also increase your following because, hey, if I get a reply from a teacher, I'm like, man, that's the man Titus. He gave me a message. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. The con, you have to do a pretty good job to get someone to review your stuff. Now, people are pretty kind on Insight Timer, but it means your stuff has to be banging. You got to be making that stuff stick. That means technically it has to be good. But again, the pay rate 1-to-1. Next, free plays. That's just your free offering. Now, this is great for reach because people that have the free version, the freemium version of Insight Timer, get options to listen to your stuff. So you can build a bit of a following and people are like, hey, this person's good. You can build a reach, you can get some reviews off the back of that. But again, the competition is high. And again, time to money ratio, not great because as you can see, the pay rate there, 300-to-1. Okay. It fluctuates. Sometimes it's 250, but still that's quite a lot of listens you have to get just to get $1. So it's good for reach. It's good to get started. You have to do 2 to get started anyway, but it's maybe not the perfect place to earn your money. Now, when it comes to premium plays, competition, I put in brackets here because the competition is slightly better than free because not everyone will get into the premium version. Not everyone will make premium tracks, or they're not good enough to be premium tracks. There's still quite a lot of people doing it. The other pro from this is the money is better because the ratio is very good. So if you check down at the bottom here, 3.7-to-1 on average. That's a higher end. The cons, again, it's more difficult. It takes more time to build really good premium content. good premium content, not just any. And keep in mind, when it comes to when it comes to your goodwill that you carry with people that listen to you, it's important that you keep consistently giving good stuff. You don't want to break that goodwill with a bad meditation, or like just bad editing or whatever it is. And last, you've got the classroom. This is when someone who does your course goes, "Hey, Alice, that episode 1 blew my mind. Thank you so much for giving me that. I've just got a question. How do you, you know, how do you tarot card read in this scenario?" And whatever the offering is. When you reply, you get $20 for that, sometimes 25. Okay, so classroom, again, the pro here, competition. Far less people are making classrooms, they are making courses because it's harder. You have to put a class or a course together. It's not as hard as you think, but it's more effort than just making a meditation that like that. Okay, the money is great. The difficulty and the time, again, are the cons. It takes a little bit longer, so you have to weigh that up. But that 1 to 20 ratio is amazing. So now let's move on. That's the system of ITs. And I should have said again, in the systems, you want to think of these as systems as opposed to one in, one out. So what are the systems you're going to put into play? Sam Ovens loves to talk about bottlenecks. So always look through your offering and see where the bottlenecks are. What is slowing down the pay? So think about that's why I got a hose pipe there. Think about it like a kink in the hose pipe. Where's the money getting blocked? What's stopping you generating more money? Okay, the hose pipe is the revenue. What's stopping that? You want something like that, which allows the water to freely come through. So just so you know, $1,000 in terms of these different situations, $1,000 in donations, that's $33 a day. You could go live every day, try to get $33. 1,000 reviews, that's 33 reviews a day. That's pretty tough. Free, you have to do 300,000 listens on your free stuff. That's going to be very difficult. Okay. Then when it comes to premium, you need 3,700 premium plays. That's 123 a day. 123 listens. That's not as much as you think. Then when it comes to the classroom, you have to answer 100 people. That's 3.3 people a day. Okay. So think about those systems, get your brain working, how you can use those systems to your advantage. So let's talk about these fears. I'm going to read these out and just, maybe put in the chat which one you feel the most. Okay. So scared of putting yourself out there, especially when you think you're not the best. All right. That's a big one. And then I come across a lot of people that are like, well, I'm not an expert. You're like, okay, fair enough. When it comes to that, just know that you don't have to be the expert. You don't have to be the best. There's a great story. If anyone's watched Catch Me If You Can, has anyone seen Catch Me If You Can? The one with Leonardo DiCaprio? Amazing. Tom Hanks is the CIA agent or FBI, I forget. But in the book, Frank Abagnale, who was the protagonist, he was in a sociology classroom and the teacher didn't arrive, so he went up. And in the film, they do this, but he gets caught straight away. In the book, he teaches a whole semester on sociology and takes them through a test, and the kids do pretty well. And when he gets caught, they ask him, "How did you get through the whole semester without getting caught?" He said, "It's easy. You just have to read the chapter that's one ahead of the lesson." And that's called the curve. You just have to be ahead of the curve of the people you're teaching. You don't have to be the best, okay? So take that out of your mind. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be ahead of the curve. Who is the person you're teaching that is slightly behind you? Get your mind into that kind of thinking. Next thing, I'm scared of the tech. Let me just go through these. Scared of putting myself out there and people laughing at me already. Never feel ready. Lots of people talking. Yeah, a lot of people talking about this one. Sorry, a lot of people talking about this one about not being the best and people laughing at you. Rachel, I've got a great one for you. We'll come back to that. Anyone scared of the tech? Because the tech can scare people. They're like, I have to learn a new system. I mean, it can be complicated, it can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be. My biggest selling course, the most expensive, or the one that's earned me the most revenue, I bought a fancy new microphone, pop shield, new compressor. I did the whole works, recorded it without plugging the mic in. Okay. When it came to editing, I was like, these sound terrible. I still put it out and I used a few free filters, free everything else. And I put that out, and that's my #1 course. Okay, my #1 revenue course. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be the best of the best. YouTube is your friend. You can learn anything. Okay. Now, this other one, when it comes to, scared of failing, that's what a lot of us have. Let me tell you something. Everyone's first attempt sucks. The longer you put off the first attempt, the longer you're going to suck the worst for. Get out there. We call this imperfect action. Imperfect action beats inaction every time. There's a lovely saying, which I've kind of expanded on, which is perfect is the enemy of good. Good is the enemy of try. And what that's pointing out is that if we always go, it must be better. And Olivia and I both come from the stunt world. And in the stunt world, it's harsh, man. People are always looking for ways to tear you down. And I didn't put up any videos of me completing my training. I'd never done gymnastics. And then I was learning backflips and I wanted to post them. People were like, don't post it, man, because there's lots of people a lot better than you. And here's the reality. There's always someone better than you. All right. On some scale. So don't worry about that. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate yourself. Get out there, try. All right. And just so you know, Rachel, your biggest issue when you saw an Inside Timer isn't people listening to you and laughing. It's that no one listens to you. That's a much bigger problem than people listening to it and laughing. You probably, at least you just get paid out of the first option. So get that out of your head. If you can get past that, if you can get past the limiting beliefs, you're onto a winner. Now, there's also this fear of change, and this is it's going to be different. All right, it's all going to be different for everyone at the start, but you get used to it. Now, here's a crazy thing. I'm going to put my neuroscience hat on, and when it comes to neuroscience, our sympathetic nervous system looks very similar when we're excited and when we're nervous. A little bit like me now. I'm kind of nervous to do this, but I'm also excited. But it's being alert. The sympathetic nervous system is all about being alert. And as I've been going through this, the excitement sometimes takes over, sometimes the nervousness takes over. Just be aware those two things are kicking at the same time. So just because you feel a little bit of nervousness, that's not a bad thing. That means you're in like a cool place, right? That means you're in a cool place where you can be learning, you can be growing. Okay, so we find those limiting beliefs and we're going to address them. Tons of people in your life are going to tell you no, by the way. I don't want you to be one of them. Now, the more pressing fears I would say that we should be worried about is being like everyone else. Do you know, for instance, the average American is broke, divorced, and obese? Being average is not the answer. Okay. And also, it doesn't serve anyone for you to be average. You're given a gift. You should use that gift because that's what the world needs. We're waiting for you. Everyone's waiting for you to do the thing you do. All right. Make your craft. The other thing is, we don't grow. Okay, that's another thing. We should be growing day by day. And in fact, when it comes to, again, the neuroscience, your neuroplasticity, your neurogenesis, which is making new brain cells, happens when we put ourselves in new situations. This is a great opportunity for you to learn editing, to learn voice recordings, to learn how to put something out, to learn how to put information together. This is a great opportunity. Again, like I said, you have a gift, and as what were their name? Faithless. They had a song called "Inaction is a Weapon of Mass Destruction." Okay, a little bit like money and inflation, it all depreciates if we don't use it over time. Put your skills to use. All right, and this, believe it or not, was actually in this template in Canva. So we cannot become what we want by remaining where we are. So it's like that works really well. Um, oh, amazing. So Alice has been on there. Right, here we go. Next thing, desire. Now, again, time for money. If you came from a middle income family like I did, this was the answer for all of us. Time for money. All right. We went to work and we got paid for our things, and then the company gave you a watch at the end. So, and that was brilliant. Now, if you want that, go ahead. This is not for you though. This is going to be a lot more. You put things in, you do things, and it changes things dramatically. And some weeks may be hard, some weeks may be easy, but I love it. Now, passive, like it says, passive means you work for it, but you work up front. Too passive an income is people going, I don't want to work at all. Now, the numbers that I've run, probably at about a 2 hours a week scenario, you can get to this $1,000 mark in a year quite comfortably. So it doesn't have to be all your time. Okay. Again, what I can't help is if you want to be someone else. Naval Ravikant's got a great quote, which is that your authenticity beats the competition because no one can be you better than you can be you. So don't try to be someone else. Okay. And again, you need to have some commitment, okay, or patience, because it's not going to happen overnight. So those desires can kind of get you. I'm just going to go to the chat quickly and see if there's anything. 50 courses, 50 tracks, you've been busy. Yeah, okay, good. So Alice is a shining example of how this can be done. Alice, if I'm not mistaken, you told me that you were making courses like just pumping them out, and that really worked. Okay, so we'll get to this in a bit. So 1 second. All right. Now, to answer your questions that we came to before, all right, is there even a point? Yes. Will this ever work? There's a pipe tree. This is just a pipe dream. That's untrue. I'm clearly not good at this. Partially true, but like we said, you only have to be slightly ahead of the curve. I need loads of followers. Not true. I need to be expert or the best. Not true. We spoke about that. You need all the best equipment. Again, not true. I recorded my best-selling course without any of the good stuff, although it was in my room. Now, these are the tools that you need, okay? Content, consistency, and connection. The 3 C's. These are the things that work. Okay. So I've just got a picture here of red ocean and blue ocean. We'll come to that in a second. Now, when it comes to content, you need to make sure there's quality. Okay. There's quality coming from you. There's quality coming from the editing. There's quality coming from the production value. Okay. Now, I do things like vocal warm-ups. There's a great one online. It's like 2 minutes, and I do that. And I've noticed there's a difference in now how I articulate and also how I use the mic. You can also improve things with what recording device you're using, where you're recording in your house, the best practices, editing and cleaning your stuff, producing and exporting, and also what thumbnails to use. So having all those things ready to go, that's going to really help you get production value up, which is going to make your stuff feel more quality, which means you're more likely to put it on premium. And like I said before, premium is where the money is. Now, we have the flamethrower and the sniper technique. Flamethrower is very important. This is what I did for a long time. I was forever trying things out. Different lengths, different types, different intros, music, bell, no music. And when I tried things out, I listened to what people said. That's why you want to be on your dashboard replying to people all the time. Okay. You want to be on there because people are going to tell you what they like. Now, you also want to be smart when it comes to idea generation, choosing the right content, repurposing your content, making your content work with one another. That's what I call a body of network, not just a body of work. Signposting some work to other bodies of work. The number one rule here is listen to the market. It always answers you. You put something out, no one listens, guess what? People don't like it. All right, get over it. Move on. Try dig into what they don't like about it. Get some friends to listen to it and see what they think. Find out what the market thinks. Oh, and the blue ocean, the red ocean. When it comes to different types of meditation, if you're doing the same thing as everyone else, there's going to be a high competition, which means, there's going to be slow growth with that. There's probably enough market there that you can put a lot of the same stuff out. But if you're going to do the same content, the same breathing course, then make sure you put yourself into it. And that becomes the niche part. So the famous saying that the riches on the niches, find niches. If the niche isn't in the subject matter, find it in how you deliver it or vice versa. All right, consistency. This is all about removing friction, okay? Find where the bottlenecks are, remove them. What can get you to get me those 2 hours of work a week? Do what you need to do. I don't even mind what it is, but what we find is everyone's got an excuse. I can't help you with excuses. I can help you with solutions. Find what is slowing you down and just whip it out. So if it's like, oh, I got nowhere to record, find somewhere to record. Is it your friend's house? Is it your closet? Is it at 2 o'clock in the morning? Whatever, whenever it's quiet, do that thing. Create systems. That is a workflow that makes working easy, that makes working feel good. So you're not stressed out. Again, you can use auto cues if you're struggling with your words. You can script everything out. That's what I do. And then I read it back. Whatever you need to do, create systems that allow for workflow. And then the next thing is start low, start slow. And that's all about getting momentum. So instead of going, I'm going to do 1,000 meditations the next 4 months, you're like, I could probably do 5 meditations this month. Do that because it's easy to add one on every month. What it's hard to do is, I'm going to make 5 meditations. I only made 2. I'm such a failure. It's hard to pick yourself back up. And the reason I have this pottery symbol in here is because of the famous story of potters getting together and going, okay, 2 cohorts. One cohort has to make a piece of pottery every day. The other cohort has to make the best piece of pottery by the end of the month. And when they judged the piece of pottery, the group that made a piece of pottery every day won best pottery around. The people that took 30 days just kept trying. They never completed the entire task. So I don't want that to be you. Then connection. Say what? That's right. The ostrich, look, I have him here because he has a USP. He can run very fast. He's not very good at running. He's not very good at flying, but he's very good at running. So the ostrich should try be the ostrich. Okay, that's your USP. Like I said about Naval Ravikant. Great quotes here. 97% of how we say things is important, not what we say. So stories are everything. And I don't quite have the time to go into it, but I want you to make art with all of your stories in there. And by art, I mean make people feel something. It's a real intimate thing to have someone in your ears. Okay? Make art with what you do. Also be vulnerable. That's what people connect to. That's what's going to get people to write reviews and comment on your classroom. Number one, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. This is just some stuff. I can send this to you. Just if you're struggling to come up with content, these are some things to really drill home about. Okay, so as promised, here is what the back office gave me. Again, I can send this to you. Great images, objective-based titles. That means, 5, 7, 8 to feel great. Tell them what you do in the meditation. So don't get too clever with the titles of your meditations. Make sure it's nice and good. High quality, 10 to 15 premium tracks in 6 months, free content at least once a month. That keeps that reach going. A new course every 3 to 6 months. I think that's a bit too little, but whatever. Popular topics, sleep, anxiety, stress, healing. That's the gem that they're giving you there. Create a niche content for premium. Okay. So again, find niche, either niche you or niche the content. Upload content twice a month, supported by internal and external promotions. Okay, so that means you using your following outside of Inside Time to do this. Hold live events. Again, that's your reach, and engage with your community. Okay, so that's what they gave me. Again, I can send this to you if so you want. Just holler at me. That's my presentation. I know there's a lot. Remember, I said it's going to feel like this. From here, just hear me out before I go to questions. 2 options. One, anyone who's played Mario Kart knows what these 2 things are, I hope. Does anyone know? Hit me in the chat if you know what those 2 things, are, okay? So if you understand the reference. If not, let me just explain it to you. Mario Kart's great game you play. When you're Mario in the kart, you go a certain speed. But if you ever get this guy, you get the bullet, he takes you right to the front. This is where you're at right now, at this moment, okay? So you can take all this information I've given you. I suggest you go with it. You try, you make it a success, and I really hope it works out for you. The other one is you use the cheat code. So if you want to go it alone, I still have some support for you. I want you to join my school community. Why? Well, because that is a place where we have a whole lot of teachers who are going to talk to each other about what's working, what's not working, and also not just on Inside Timer, but on school, on Aura, on their own channels. And this is a way I want teachers to help each other find what works and make money, okay? Because it's all in the dark. We're all like separated by oceans and stuff, but the school community will allow you to instead get access to other teachers and really open up to one another. It also has access to niche students. So in my school community, there's also lots of students that are interested in just meditation. So it's a great place for you to promote your stuff. So come join, it's free. There'll be a link in the email after this. And there'll also be a recording of this webinar and also just any sort of other things I come across, I'll put in there. It's a great place for you to find them. Now, if you want to come across to the paid offering of this, that's right, here's the sales pitch. If you want to find out how to generate 400 meditation ideas in a matter of minutes, learn how to write, record, and edit the easy way for free. If you want to use the other options too, I'm well versed at the other technical stuff. If you want to create courses that connect, if you want to learn how Inside Timer Pro system works, I'm going to give you a template to work with and work with you as we build that out. And we'll also talk about the most frequent mistakes and how you can avoid them. And we'll deal with those on 4 weekly mastermind courses. Now, this is currently what I charge for these things on their own. The 400 meditations, that turns out to be if you get 10 listens on each of those, you're well into $1,000 a month, which means you're on $12,000 a year, okay? Learning how to write, record, and edit the easy way for free means it's going to save you at least $1,000 on programs when you don't need them. Also, recording equipment, I can tell you exactly what you need and ways to get around it. Olivia's already found this with me. We talk about all the stuff and say, you can use this, you can use that. You don't need this guy, you need this guy, whatever the case is, just a bit of insight into that. Then creating courses that connect. You saw where the money is. It's with connecting with people. If you want to learn how I've learned to connect with people, how I've turned this from $13 to 2,000 and now to 4 to 5,000, this is where it's at. We have to learn how to connect with those courses. And there's also ways we can use this Inside Timer Pro system. And I put that again about $1,000 a month, which is $1,000 a month is 12,000 per annum. Again, if you want these templates, I sell this normally for around $400. And my mastermind calls, I usually do a 5 one-to-one course, which is $1,000. So 4 is roughly going to be 400. So the value is massive here, not just in what you save, but also in what you get, your potential. Now, again, this is what you would earn in a year. There's 12,000, right? If you just had the 400 meditations, if you just had the courses to connect, that's every year for the rest of your life. But this is the first time I'm doing this course, right? So I want your help. And this is what I'm offering. We've got a pre-sale. Instead of one-to-one, it's a one-to-some. And for that, it's $400 if you want to do this in the next 24 hours. There'll be an email. There'll be an option for you to do that. If you still want a one-to-one, if you want the option that Olivia is getting at the moment, which is one-to-one, send me WhatsApp messages, get me to proof listen your meditations to help you re-edit them if necessary, and give you all the advice I can over those 4 weeks or 5 weeks, that's $800. But if you don't want to do that, you don't want either of those, then just know that as the first group doing this with me, it's going to be $600. Okay, so if you miss the 24 hours, you still get a really good deal. It's going to be $600 for this first group. It'll be limited to 20 people, maybe 10, maybe 2 groups of 10. There'll be a payment plan available, and you'll have access to the finished course afterwards. So what this will be, it'll be 4 calls with me once a week. Each of you, as a group, will talk through what's going on, who needs help, and I'm going to help solve those problems for you and get you up and running from profile to profit within that first month. That's my role. I want to get you guys earning money as fast as possible and give you all the tools that you can rinse, repeat each month and just add to that portfolio. It's like building your dream 1 brick at a time, and then also getting those bricks to work together so you get a synergistic effect. So if you want any of those things, please be my guest. There'll be an email after this. That's it. Those are the links. Questions? And you're all on mute, so just so you know. So if you have questions, raise your hand or go on the screen. If you don't want to be in the video, then just ask you just turn off your video when you do it. If you have a question, feel free to shout out now. Nothing. Yeah, Rachel, sorry, you got a question there. Why am I working in USD? I work in USD because a lot of the people on Inside Timer are American. So that's why I use a lot of US dollar signs, and also why I've converted it to USD for those people. But if you want the UK version of that, just email me or message me. You got my number, and we can go from there. Other chats. How long would it take? So Titus, that is really up to you. Titus is asking, how long would it take to get to 4K a month? Again, I gave you kind of the breakdown of what it would be for $1,000 a month, and that's around 2 hours of work a week over a year. That's up to you how you scale that, how much free time you have. I can't speak on everyone's behalf. What I've done is, because the strikes happened, I was like, I'm going to dig in. And I really sped up the whole process, because once I understood how it all worked, how I could put things together, and that's what I'm always doing, refining the process, finding the bottlenecks, taking them out. To scale from 500 to 1,000 was 2 months, 1,000 to 2,000 was 2 months, and 2,000 to 5,000 was 1 month. So in different ways to that. So I don't, I need to know how many people you have already, so on and so forth. Of the 27 million users, how many are premium members, and who can do the great question, Stephanie. So that I don't know. That's probably worth getting from Inside Timer, knowing exactly how many people they get. What I might do here is actually, I'll keep the screen up just because it's going to be easier if we need to go back to slides. Exactly how much, I don't know, but only the people that are premium get access to the courses. And access to the premium tracks, there used to be an option for them to buy your course. So if you have a juicy enough course, people can go, I just want to buy that on its own. And then I think you get most of that money. You don't get like per play, you get a lump sum, which is pretty cool. Uh, how many parts do you think is best for a course on Inside Timer? I struggle with confidence. Okay, so let me deal with one of these at a time, Francesca, because these are both great questions. Um, so how many parts? The course is my biggest selling course by far is 5 parts. The next best selling course is 30 days. So it's 30 parts. I would think what you have is even with my 30-day one, I have lots of people doing it, but there's a big drop off after usually I found around 10 days. My opinion is 5 to 10 days is the best. I think ideally you want to stay around the 5 mark. But again, that's the blue ocean, red ocean thing. The longer your course, the less competition. Okay. The shorter your course, the more competition, but the more likely people are to do it because they're not going to be so intimidated by it. And then I want to go to the next point you made. I struggle with confidence on Inside Timer. So never even thought about putting a course together. Any other tips for pushing yourself out there? It's a pleasure for all the help. It's my pleasure to help you out, Francesca, and please reach out if you need some more. When it comes to struggling with that, again, remind yourself, I did the same with handstands. And the amount of people I didn't help with handstands because I was like, I don't know enough to help. I knew enough. I knew how to get started. So I had a course ready to go of how to teach handstands to people that had never taught it. You just have to be clear about who you want to help. So, Francesca, there's definitely something through in your life that you've gone through. Okay, it's definitely something you've dealt with up to this point, where there's a previous version of you that overcame, and you're thinking, how can I help? But that's a really intense course. There's also easy things like here's a 5-day journaling course about how to be more confident. And you can relay this going like, even making this course makes me not feel confident. But here's some things I've used that make me feel more confident. And that's where the USP of you is so useful. I said there's riches in the niches. And there's another saying that I've come up with, which is that there's pain in the profit. And if you have a pain point that you've gone through, 100% someone else has gone through the same pain point. And instead of just reading, oh, 5 days, 5 days to journaling, that's not really interesting. 5 days to journal to be more confident. Ah, now you got my attention. Now you're speaking to the people that you need to speak to. Okay. Uh, Stephanie, okay, they wouldn't say, you see, they've really clammed up in the back office at Inside Timer. What criteria do you use for putting a track premium versus free? Uh, Great question, David. So the criteria that I use is normally if it's good quality, and for me, I had 80 free meditations already available. For me, I feel like there's enough free stuff out there. The criteria I just make sure is that it is high quality. But for Inside Timer, they'll say that you have to have at least 2 free tracks, and that I think that's it. And if you want to do a course, then you have to have at least 2 tracks, and you have to have an average rating of 4.8. But they're always changing that, and they don't always stick to that. So just be clear. At Titus, a 15-day course is okay for the same reasons I said before. It's going to put you into a different bracket. Just make sure all 15 days are good. I would also say when it comes to timings, don't make them too long. All right, break it up rather because people's attention span are just not there. David, you mainly do music. Oh, mate, that works perfectly fine. No, the way they work things out doesn't matter if it's a podcast, if it's music. That's why I said be smart and repurpose your stuff. If you have content sitting on your computer, you have a gold mine. Use that gold mine to your advantage. Okay, Stephanie, if it's on the free side of the app, do users see the courses? Yes, they do see the courses, even if they don't have them. Is your school the Downward Doug? Summer, I can't tell from that. It might be, but like I said, there'll be an email after this, and that'll give you an option to go across to my school community, and that's where I want all you guys to be because any question you have here, you can bounce off each other and say what works. That's the joy of a community. And then Alice has got her Inside Timer link there. So if you want to follow her, go ahead. Again, come to the community. It's going to be a lot easier when you put that link in. It'll show you a bit more about them too. Yeah, Alice was kind enough to have a chat to me before about her experience, and she busted out. She was like, course, 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 course. Like she shows you that if you put the work in, you can get the results. Okay. So, any more questions before I bring this to a close? It's been an hour of this webinar. I hope you're psyched about getting on there. Whether you choose to work with me or on your own, start. Like you guys in America, it's Sunday. Everyone's to chill on Sunday. But if you're ready to get going tomorrow morning, wake up, be like, damn, let's get going with this stuff. Yeah, there you go. Summer did 12 a few months running. Well, 12 published 12 things a month. All right. No problem. Thank you so much, everyone. Any other questions, you can always get me. You know where to find me. And if anyone takes me up on that offer, please do. The email will be shortly. Don't miss out on that $400. It's going to be the cheapest this course is ever going to be. I'm currently coaching people for $1,000. So this is a great way to get that kind of cheaper version. Even though it's a lot more of you, it's all good. Okay, everyone. Well, if there's no more questions, that's exactly an hour on the dot. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It'll be up on the School Community. So if you have some friends that you're like, you got to check this out, go check me out on School Community. It'll probably be on the YouTube channel too. Until next time, peace out, A-Town down, all that good stuff. Peace and love. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone. Oh, there, I can see your faces finally. There, Amy, bye. Yeah, I saw you earlier, now I can't see you. Olivia Jackson, bye-bye. Stephanie, there. Yeah, when I share my screen, I can't see everyone. I want to see some faces now. Oh, there you go. There's Rachel. There's Alice. Hey, hello again. Francesca Jolly. Hey, what's happening? Someone's giving me thumbs. Oh, I like that. Titus, killer thing going on there. I don't know how you did it, but it looks super cool, bro. David, thanks for being here too. Now I can see everyone. This has been a real shame. Right, everyone, go have a lovely Sunday, whatever you're doing with the rest of it. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.